We asked for your scary stories, and this is what we got. I was 8 years old when my sister Regan died, and I'm not sorry to say that it was a happy time in my life. She was always a terrible person, as in she would always hit me, not like a sibling play fight kind of thing, like a real balled fist, hair pulling and toss me around violently. Our parents couldn't control her. She would go against their word, and even took to drugs at 16. She would even go as far as putting holes in the walls and trashing up the house. She cost thousands of dollars in repairs, but I really can't say how my parents felt about her passing. Things were quiet and peaceful for a good few years. I was an only child and got all the attention, which was a good thing. House was always clean and no drama at all, so it was really a blessing she passed away. Sad, but not too sad to say. About a month after my 10th birthday, I started to notice small bruises on my arms, and on my neck as well. My mother thought I was being bullied in school, but the honest truth was that I had no clue where they were coming from. The next few weeks they kept reappearing, and the pain of them had started to get worse. Even the doctor couldn't explain it, and just chalked it up to lack of iron, but that really wasn't the case either. Then one night I was laying in bed reading a comic book with a small night light, and that's when I felt my bed nudge forward slightly. My heart skipped a quick beat at that moment, and it happened again as I looked around my room. My bedroom door was slightly open, so there was some light coming in, and suddenly my entire bed had started to shake violently. I screamed as I grabbed the back of the bed frame, screaming for my dad, and he comes rushing in to catch the last few seconds of it shaking. My mother followed a few seconds later, and I told them what happened. Even with my father just witnessing those few seconds, he was in denial and blamed me for overreacting. The next night I decided to sleep on the couch for the fear of the same thing happening, so I set up a plan of movies to watch with snacks and sodas to keep me going for as late as I can go. Going in midway through the second movie, I passed out with a bag of chips on my lap and a soda in my hand. I could somewhat hear my own snoring and feel my own drool rolling off my lip, but was way too tired to do anything about it. I could feel myself slipping deeper into my sleep as the seconds went on, and the TV noise fading in the darkness of my eyes, and before I knew it, I felt a pair of hands pressing down on my chest heavily. I woke up and gasped, only to see a black figure of something holding down my chest. Barely able to breathe, and for the life of me, I couldn't move an inch. My entire body grew a burning cold just by the touch of this thing. The most scariest part about this was that this all happened within 5 seconds. Those seconds felt as if time had stopped and lasted for an hour. I can't explain how that was possible, but the quiet fear of looking up at this hollow thing pushing down on my chest was the scariest experience I've had at that point. When I was finally able to move, I jumped off the couch and slammed my foot on the corner of the coffee table, and crawled out of that living room and up the stairs as quick as I could. Trying not to disturb my sleeping parents, I ran to my room and jumped under my bed covers, cold and hands numb from this shadow person. I cried that whole night thinking back at what I saw, and I tell you now, I don't like, not ever, but looking at that thing. I swear it looked like my deceased sister. I can vaguely see its face, but I swear I can make out what it looked like and how I know also. That's how my sister used to hold me down and try to cave in my chest, which was a harsh pain for me. After a week after that first experience, nothing else had happened. I can't tell you how paranoid I grew of seeing that thing again. I started sleeping with an open Bible next to my bed, a crucifix on my door and above my bed, and of course a baseball bat by my nightstand. How could I tell my mother and father about what had happened? They knew something was up because of how quiet I had been that whole time, but we all just tried to move on with our lives and pretend that my sister was never around or even existed. Of course that was until the night she came back. What happened just had to happen on the most typical of rain and stormy nights, so it gets a little dramatic like a movie or something. I was settled in bed with my comic books, and Mom and Dad were just getting ready to set themselves down in their room. I had my door wide open, and a little time passed and the whole house grew quiet as I read while listening to the rain and thunder outside. Just as I was turning the page, I suddenly hear my mom scream, or yelp, whatever it was. It made me jump out of my bed and grab my Bible, running towards the parent bedroom all the way down the hall. I pushed open the door and found my dad holding my mom in their bed. I thought maybe she just had a nightmare, but as I could see through my peripheral side view, I noticed a patch of black mass curled up in the corner, its long hair draped over its face, and hugging its knees, rocking back and forth. My mom and dad got out of their bed and slowly made their way towards me, as they kept an eye on this black mass. We all make our way to the hallway and run down the stairs, and into the kitchen in a hurry. My parents quickly rummaging through the drawers trying to find their car keys. I looked down the hall while trying to catch my breath from the immense fear I was beginning to feel build up in my chest. Breathing got really heavy as if that thing was pushing down on my chest again. I turned and looked down the hall, and could see the shadow turning the corner, standing there watching us look back at it. My dad wraps his arms around my mother, and as my dad yells, "You can't be here anymore, Regan. You're dead. Now leave." Mom starts sobbing into Dad's chest as I watch this thing tilt its head slightly, and it begins to scratch at its own arms, and slowly backs into the wall. "Leave, Regan. No more." Dad yells once more, and this shadow disappears into the wall. After that chilling experience, my parents had started putting up crucifixes all through the house, one for every room and daily prayers for each room. We've never been religious, but this was a new thing for us, and if it kept the bad spirit away, then I'm sure as hell we needed it. But what really got me, after many years, my mother passed and it was just me and my dad. One day we sat and talked about what happened. Turns out that whatever that thing was, that angry spirit of my sister Regan, it was actually haunting my parents' bedroom for that whole week. They didn't say anything cause they didn't want to frighten me with me being so young. My sister Regan or thing would cry softly in the corner of their bedroom until morning, scratching itself and pulling out its hair. My sister was really just evil, and the day she died, she left her rage for us to deal with. That's what I believe anyway. I can't mention half the things she has done, but what I can say is that the world would be better off without her. But as for the hateful spirit, I really hope it's not back at that house, cause whoever lives there has my sympathy, Regan. May you not rest in peace.